Hello, everybody. Welcome to Module 3 of EDUC 5583, Advanced Foundations of Literacy. I just wanted a couple of just little announcements. First of all, I know that much of the country is experiencing some pretty severe weather. If you are one of those people experiencing that weather and you're having problems with internet or power outages, please, when you can, reach out to me and let me know that. We know that we have extension sites and we have people all over the country. And so we know a lot of the world is experiencing some pretty bad weather right now. So that's the first thing. So let's go ahead and get with what we're going to be doing today. And I thought today, we don't have a lot of new things I want to go over, but I do want to go over some resources and share some things with you because I've realized that I want to make sure that I show all of you everything that I need to show you. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show everybody a little bit about how to do Google search, to look for articles, because I realize maybe you don't know this. So here's the Southeastern website, and I'm going to go here to databases. Now, there's lots of different databases. So what are some that are educational ones? Well, some of the educational ones are ProQuest, I use a lot, and EBSCO, I use a lot. Those are good academic journals. So we would not just want to search all databases, because if we do that, we're going to get too many hits. So I'm going to go to E, and I'm going to look up EBSCO, but I'm going to do EBSCO Educational, okay? So there I go, EBSCO Educational, and I'm going to wait. So I'm just noticing that you guys cannot see this. So let me try again. I'm going to reshare. Okay, so hopefully you will be able to see this. So we did EBSCO. Now I have to use these filters. So I'm going to put full text because I only want an article that I have the full text. So I don't want just the abstract. I'm also going to do peer reviewed because we learned that in module 1, what makes research more credible, and that is that it's a peer review. Now, the dates. Generally, we went, past 5 years, but if you're dealing with theory, which all of you are, I would say past 10 years is fine. So I'm going to do that. And now we have to think of the topic, and we want to be pretty specific. So let's say that I'm going to put sociolinguistic theory, because a lot of you were doing that theory. So let's see what we have here. I can see here I have 25 results. And so these are articles about the sociolinguistic theory. It looks like we have different ones translating and literacy. And so I wanted to show you how to do this because you need to be looking at credible articles that are research. I shouldn't say research-based. Remember, we learned not to do that. That are credible, that are reliable. And so I want you to use those filters. So again, EBSCO, ProQuest, those are pretty good ones. And so that was one thing I wanted to show you. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is a tool that we have called a Google LM Notebook. Now, I have to be careful about this because I don't want to let the genie out of the bag here with AI. I want to make it very clear about some things. You are not allowed to use AI for papers, to write your papers, but I did say that AI was allowed for, if you wanted to get ideas, that was perfectly okay to use AI for those purposes. I wanted to show you this program called Google LM Notebook because what I like about this is it's different than OpenAI. OpenAI just takes from all over the internet. Google Notebook, which you have access to as a Southeastern student. So when you go to Google LM Notebook, then you will just log in using your Southeastern account. It only works with information that you put in it. So I'm just going to give an example. I'm going to create here a new notebook. And I'm going to, this week, Module 4, you're reading research about early childhood interventions and early childhood literacy. And I have downloaded one of those articles. So I'm going to go here and I am going to go to downloads and okay, I can't find that one. So that's okay. I'm just going to put an article in here. So this is actually an article that I wrote a while back. It is a, it was a myself and other people designed an assessment that assesses kids' reading attitudes. So I'm putting that in there, and you can see it's thinking over here. Now it gives a summary over here of what the article was about. Okay. Now the reason I'm showing you this is I want you to read the articles because you need to develop reading stamina. You need to develop your reading muscles. However, even after reading something, if you're still struggling with understanding it, you can put this in Google Notebook, and now I see it summarizes it for me. Let's say that you want a here are flashcards. You could create flashcards. You're not going to, I don't know why you would need that because you're not going to need flashcards about it. The mind map tool is a good one. And I'm going to do audio overview. Now it's going to take a bit for this to create. Well, it didn't take a lot for this, this one with the mind map. So I'm going to click that on and notice how it's taking the article. And these are the 5 main parts. It has key findings. It's explaining the key findings and the applications. So this is a great mind map. If you, after you read something, then you can go back if you want to see how that works, or if you want to understand it a little bit better. I'm going to go to that same article because I forgot that I downloaded it earlier. So again, you could do an audio overview. So I'm going to go here to audio overview, and I want you to listen to what it says. Hopefully it'll work. Not for sure if you could hear that, but what it did was it created a podcast for me. Now I can listen to that and I can understand what the article is. So I wanted to show you this tool as a way that my suggestion is read the articles. You have to develop your reading, thinking muscles, and you have to push through these articles. Yes, they're tough, but this is what graduate work is, okay? So you're going to do that. And then afterwards, if you want to use Google LM Notebook to help you to summarize it, to understand and break it apart and then synthesize it, this is a tool you can use, okay? So I showed you that, and I showed you the tool for looking up articles because I didn't want to assume that everybody knew how to do all of that. So I'm going to go back to what we're going to do this week, and you'll be happy to know I'm not giving you a lot of new assignments this week because you have some things, quite a few things you got to work on. So this week, we are looking at scientifically based research in early childhood, early literacy instruction. So all your readings focus on that early childhood literacy. So under the Learn section, our required readings, you have 2 readings, Research Policy and Practice in Early Childhood. And then you have an article called Theories of Child Development and Their Impact on Early Childhood. So again, this is another theory article that if you still need some help with that paper, that'll give you some ideas. And here's a lot of different resources that you don't have to read, but they're just there for you if you need that extra information. So this week, there's no discussion post because you have a pretty big assignment, but you do have one assignment that you really need to think about and do. So you have a video assignment, apply a literacy theory. And this is something we've talked about a little bit already. So I'm going to go to assignment instructions and let's see what it says here. Have to go here to a window. So you are to design a lesson that applies a theory to literacy instruction. So most of you already wrote about that in Module 2. The theory should be the same one selected for the theoretical framework assignment Module 2. You're going to video record yourself conducting the lesson with someone or even a better with a group of students. If you use students, make sure you have their permission. The video should be at least 10 minutes, no more than 12. So you don't have to do a 30-minute lesson. The length of the lesson segment should be, like I said, between like 10 to 12 minutes. At the beginning of the video, I want you to explain what you're teaching, how it aligns with whatever theory it is that you're doing. And then you're required to submit your video. You can do it as a link or put it on YouTube, or there's screencast. There's different ways that you can do that. So what am I going to be looking for? Did you do a video? Did you begin with a summary of the literacy theory? Did your lesson focus on the component of literacy instruction that you said you were going to? Did the chosen theory, was it appropriate to the topic? So let's say if you were working on sociolinguistic theory, but you taught part of a lesson where kids weren't talking any, that theory would not align with your lesson. So I'm looking for that alignment. The use of the literacy theory should be apparent and appropriate. The lesson plan. The lesson plan is original, creative approaches to literacy instruction. The ideas presented are innovative, making the lesson engaging. So you do need a lesson plan, okay? So part of it is going to be the lesson, the video. The second part is going to be the actual lesson plan. And then we'll be looking at the quality of the video, the audio, not as many points for that part of it. So again, 2 parts, the video and the lesson plan. With the lesson plan, there's lots of different formats, but I want you to include basic information like standards, objectives, what are your procedures, and what is the assessment. Now, if a lot of you are doing a lot of different theories that call for scaffolding and so forth, so if you're calling for that scaffolding, I'm going to need to see those things that align with that theory. So scaffolding might be that I do, we do, you do model, questioning, and so forth. So to summarize, you have the actual lesson plan and the video. Both of these should align with the theory that you wrote about in Module 2. There is no discussion post for this week because I think you have enough work to do this week. If you want to use the Google LM Notebook after you've read to learn information, that's fine. I also want you to make sure that you utilize the appropriate databases at the Southeastern Library. When you go into the Southeastern website for the library, you're going to see you can schedule a meeting with the librarian to do your research. So part of what I want you to learn as a graduate student is how to do the research, how to look up things, how to know what's credible and what's not credible. What are the right databases and what are the wrong databases? How to use those filters to give the information that you want to give. So that's all I have for this week. Again, you'll turn in your lesson plan and your video. No discussion post. It will be due on Tuesday. Have a wonderful day. And also don't forget I do my office hours on Mondays at 6:30. And so I use the same link every week. So if you have any questions, but if you have a question other than Monday, just email me. And I've met with some students over the weekend and we'll meet and we'll talk and we'll hash it all out. This can be a difficult class, but I know that I have students that can reach that level of expectation and that level of graduate work. So I totally know that you guys are capable and that you're going to be able to do this awesome work because we want the best educators out there to represent Christ. Okay, have a good day.